Welcome back to the programme. It's 6:51 now. Should teenagers be banned from speaking in slang? Well, one London school thinks so. It's forbidding students from using words such as ain't and innit, or was and cos, and ending their sentences with the word yeah.
You can't say the word was. It's difficult, isn't it? So,
yeah.
Is it a good idea? One poll survey commissioned by Daybreak revealed 70% of parents do try to stop their children from using slang, and more than half of those questioned agreed that it should be banned in schools. However, almost 60% said they wouldn't judge someone who used slang words in the workplace, innit?
I'm speaking to one of my boys, it's like, yeah man, what's going on, cool, etc, etc. But if I was speaking to you or addressing people, I do speak formally.
I have two teenage children who we insist on speaking properly.
I do try to encourage them to speak properly, yeah. But nowadays it is properly to some people, isn't it?
It's used every day, isn't it? I don't think, you know, I'm saying it, see, you know what I mean?
Other people start thinking, oh, they're from a certain background, certain class, and they look down on them.
Everyone I've ever given a job to, if they don't speak properly, I pull them up on it.
Cordelia is at the school where this all started. Wagwan Cordelia. I didn't really say that properly, did I? It's what my nephew says to me. I'm trying to be down with the kids.
Do you know what it means?
No. What's going on? What's behind the decision?
I'm a bit lost here. This is a brand new academy replacing a failing school, actually. So they're all about raising standards, and that's what they're trying to do. They put these posters up banning slang to try and improve the standard of English in the classroom. And from what you're saying, they could do with coming round to our newsroom too. Students took to Twitter last night actually really upset about this because they feel that there's a crackdown on their own urban language, as they describe it. And some parents are really worried about the undertones to this because urban is often a word used to describe Black and Asian culture here in this country. One MP, though, David Lammy, is behind this drive. He says it's very good that the school is being so clear about what's expected, and the academy itself says this initiative is just one of many ways it's trying to give students the skills they need in job interviews. Figures out later today, by the way, expected to show youth unemployment at almost 1 million wherever you stand on the slang row. That is language everyone can understand.
OK, thank you, Cordelia. Joining us now is the columnist and author and teenage lookalike, Owen Jones, who wrote a book called... you wrote a book about what is called the demonisation of the working class. And do you think this is part of it?
Well, I think it's kind of hinting in that direction. It's certainly true. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, people always communicated in lots using slang language. Each generation has their own way of communicating. What's so interesting about English is how much it changes. We live in a very diverse and multicultural society. If you live in somewhere like we are here in London, we have lots of different people from lots of different backgrounds exchanging words.
It's the same across the country.
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons our language changes so much. I just think there needs to be a bit of common sense here. I think most people would agree when it comes to, I don't know, written work, when it comes to the classroom, you don't expect people to be writing things like in it or whatever.
But isn't that the problem, though? Some children perhaps don't know the difference. Same with text language, isn't it? They start using it in essays, and that's the problem.
Well, I think that's a separate issue, though, isn't it? I think most people get marked down if they start doing that, and that's justifiably the case, if you like. But my fear is this: it's when you start policing the way teenagers express themselves, the way they bond with each other. And as I say, each generation has different ways of expressing themselves. And there are some dodgy undertones to this. Your report was quite right. When people talk about urban language, they're often talking about the sorts of words used, particularly from people from black and minority ethnic backgrounds. My view is, well, I mean, you know, I think give people the chance to live their childhood. We already have so many pressures on young people, whether it be consumerism, whether it be how over-examined they are, whether it be peer pressure. Adding on to that, this constant policing of people's behaviour, rather than just letting them grow up and live as children, have a childhood, if you like.
But isn't the problem that they might then grow up still talking like this, and that might prevent them getting into work if they're adding in it at the end of every sentence?
Well, no, because I think this is a thing. People learn the difference, if you like, between formal and informal language. I mean, I used to use in it all the time. I remember it's probably probably a bit irritating at the time, as far as I remember. And I do remember probably my mum and dad trying to
correcting you.
Exactly, and parents will do that, absolutely. But it hasn't stopped me getting anywhere in life, and that's the thing. As long as people learn the difference between formal and informal, because you don't want to rock up to an interview, do you, and start using in it necessarily. But that's the point. Young people aren't stupid. They will learn to express yourself in a classroom and when you're talking with your mates. And you're
well, we've had loads and loads of response from people. Sasha Ames says it's a good idea, this banning of it, because they will not be able to use it in the workplace, so they should be taught to speak correctly.
Yeah, as long as they don't use slang in their written work, I can't see any harm in it, says Tracy Bourne, agreeing with what you're saying there, pretty much.
Ruth Davies says, I think it's important that people are taught how to talk properly, and then what they do with that knowledge afterwards is up to them. So it's a case of, I suppose, building the foundations properly, which is possibly what this head teacher is trying to do at the academy.
Yeah, but it's turning school. This is the other thing I object to. It's turning schools almost into kind of factory lines where you kind of, instead of having young people be able to express themselves, be able to become well-rounded individuals, you almost treat them as robots who have to be crafted in a certain way. We even regulate the way they speak when they're hanging out with their friends.
Although, let's be clear, just to end on this point, they're not allowed to say it in the corridors, are they?
Correct.
What they say in their playground, possibly, and outside of school.
Well, they're going to put people in detention.
Well, I don't know, but it's certainly a hot topic this morning. Thank you.